Well, good evening. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker, and today is Tuesday, the 21st of January, 2025, and it's approximately 19:30. That's 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and I'm at the Luz truck stop in Alma, Texas, which is just south of Dallas, about 40 miles, and this is the first time I've had a shower and shave in a truck stop, in a Luz truck stop, in some while, and I'm glad to get it. I've been on the road since Sunday, Saturday maybe. Well, we'll go over the details in a minute, but let's introduce the equipment and get on with the shave. I'm tired and I'm hungry and ready to get to bed. Now I'm using one of my, they're all my favorites, aren't they? One of the very first early 2015 vintage, maybe 16, vintage razors that I bought, and it set me on a course and a hunt for the next several years. And I just love this razor. It's a Taylor Eyewitness. There we go. Taylor Eyewitness, and a little bit of gold. It's faded, I guess. I don't know if you can read that. Taylor's Master Barber. Yes, Taylor's Master Barber. Now and it's post 1891, says Sheffield, England on it. And as with most, not all, but several of my Sheffields, I've honed them up on my caudicle. I have currently 4 cauticles. I have 2 8x3s. My best one I call my A caudicle. The next one that I've not spent much time with, and I should, is called my B caudicle. And I have one that was given to me. It's a what looks like about a 2x7, 2x6, and I call that my M caudicle. And then I have a little travel stone, a little 4x2 that is excellent. I wish I had it in a 8x3. And the soap that we're using tonight is the Mitchell's Wool Fat. I have it in an old Bear Stearns Man plastic doodad, and so necessity is the mother of invention, and so there's that. And then we'll be using the Ozma alum block a little bit later, so let's get on with it. Oh, and the brush. You may have seen me use in the last video, I believe, was the Zenith. It's a small brush, comparatively speaking, but it claims to be, I forget, it's either a 28 or a 30 millimeter, and it don't matter, but it's not like the big Sterling. And the other I've seen, like I believe that it's either Greg Gallant or Eric the Cajun Blade. Nice hot shower, nice hot water at the sink, and the air temperature, I guess they paid their electric bill, or maybe their oil bill. because it's nice and warm. And so I made delivery this morning in Amarillo, Texas. So I got in on Thursday, home that is, and my boss says, go ahead and take the weekend off. So Thursday, I'm thinking I'm not going back out to work till at least Monday. But on Saturday, I got the text message with my load details, and here's he took a day away from me, and I wasn't happy about that. So I essentially got half a Thursday off, Friday, Saturday off, and half a Sunday off. So you can call that 3 days if you want to. I call that stealing a half a day from me. I love Mitchell's Wool Fat. It's one of the soaps that I would take with me if I was stranded. That Tabac, Cella, maybe one or two of the Sterlings, just because they lather good, and all of the, well, I shouldn't say that. The original, the Fougere, and the vetiver. I just love those scents, those 3 scents. The others are okay, the rose and and they certainly lather beautifully. But the ones I mentioned are the ones that the Martin de Condé that I just absolutely love. And the Mitchell's Wool Fat with the lanolin, and the smell is pleasant enough, but it's the after effect that it leaves. All right, here we go. So here's what happened on the load that burns me up, and it wasn't explained to me. Not that you have to explain every detail, but I got blindsided. And I got the paperwork via text message. I got about, I'm going to say, my last day was on Saturday, off camera. And so I'm going to say that I've got 4 days of whiskers. And so I read through the paperwork. I had to go pick up the empty trailer at a washout yard about 25 minutes south of our terminal yard. And then in order to get set up for load time at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, I had to drive 2.5 to 3 hours south toward Victoria, Texas, a place called Point Comfort. And that was an ordeal in itself. Now and both of the, well, I'll say it this way. The address for the washout yard where the trailer was, and the address for the loading address for the loading plant would not what would be a good way to say it? Would not true themselves out. You type in the address as given on the paperwork, I get no positive return on that. And that's absolutely infuriating to a truck driver when you tell them where to go. And I've always said to dispatchers, I said, and terminal managers, when you give me an address of where to go, oftentimes they don't true out, they don't bear out on a map. And they know this. I said, you ought to give the longitude, latitude coordinates of where you want the driver to go. Those are easy to program in. If you look at a map of Texas and around Point Comfort, you'll see that they sit on Matagorda Bay, a little bit inland from the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of America, I might add. You just gotta love the boss man, don't you? I got a fan right over my head. And the Mitchell wool fat likes to dry out. And so I told my wife, I said, you know what? He's just taken a half a day away and he's messed up our Sunday. But we had a good Thursday afternoon, and she worked from home on Friday. And then Saturday, we had together. So I left the house on Sunday at about 11:30, got to the yard at about 12:30, got all my gear stowed away, my groceries and everything. And my wife always packs me for maximum that the little refrigerator will hold, which is about 10 days, 12 days worth of stuff. And it took me about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes to drive to the washout yard where the trailer was at. And I hate going into those places, but that's just part of the game. And there's always problems. There's either a problem with the trailer, you can't find the trailer, they're stacked in so tight you can't get it out once you do find it. But everything went fine. I was shocked that it all went so well. So I hooked up to the trailer. Cut across to the west side of Houston, picked up Interstate 69, also known and had been known for years and years and years in Houston as US Highway 59. But you know, planners love to plan, and they turned it into Interstate 69. And it was about a 2-hour drive. From Baytown, LaPorte, Texas, on the southeast side of Houston, down around Galveston Bay, anyway. And so the total time from the time that I left home at 11:30 a.m. to the time I got parked at the truck stop was 5:30 p.m., so it was about 6 hours. And that's about how long I expected. I don't know if that was my boss's intention, was actually to get me out. I don't know if he expected me to do all that on Sunday night. Or do all that in the wee hours of Monday morning. Now, if I had done it Monday morning, I would not be here at Alma tonight on Tuesday night after delivery this morning. It would have significantly altered the routing and the time consumed. Anyway, but as it turned out, I got to the load appointment, which where I stopped on Sunday night was approximately 45 minutes to the load in Point Comfort. And again, the address did not bear out. And so I went to 3 different, and they're just all over the place, these massive chemical plants. And so I drove into one, and they said, no, this is not us, you need to go over there. And so I'd go over there, and they said, no, that's not us, you need to go kind of back where you were, because I said I'd been over here, now they sent me over here. Well, you kind of go back there, but don't go all the way where you were. Go to the first driveway, when you come to the big curve, the first driveway on the left, that's where you go in at. Okay. And so load time was at 8 o'clock Monday morning, yesterday morning. They had me out of there by 9:30. And a good group of guys. They were very pleasant, very helpful to me personally. I need to check something. I'll be right back. Well, I'm sorry about that. False alarm. And so I left over there at loading at Point Comfort at about 10 o'clock yesterday morning and made it to Quanah, Texas. There's a monster rest area over there. And I've known about that place for years. And I went to bed from the time I went to bed to the time I got up this morning, there was about a half inch of snow on the ground. And it was cold. It's been very cold in Texas. Woke up this morning in Quanah and it was 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was still approximately 3 hours short of Amarillo this morning, so I had to make those 3 hours. And delivery was at 10 o'clock. And it's one of those deliveries that every truck driver likes. And so the guy comes out and meets me, tells me where to park. And he says, just stay in the truck, I'll take care of everything. And I'm going, yeah, you go right ahead. No, what I said was thank you. And he got me unloaded in about 45 minutes. And I went from his location over to the Love's Truck Stop on Whitaker in Amarillo, if you're familiar with where that's at. And took care of my little chores and business I had to do over there. And I came in I did, on the way up, I did a lot of cross-country driving on U.S. highways and Texas state highways to get from Point Comfort up toward Austin and to hit I-35 and bring me into Fort Worth to get me onto 287 headed toward Amarillo. And then on the way in, I stayed on 287 from Amarillo into Fort Worth. And then cut across 820 to back down on the south side, south of I-20, picked up US 287 again. And that brought me to Alma. I left about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and 20 minutes on my drive clock, which is fine by me. And then I told my boss I would be into the back to the yard by mid-morning tomorrow, and that tells me 10 o'clock, between 9 and 10 o'clock. Now the strange thing is, because I notified him when I was sitting there at that Love's Truck Stop in Amarillo on Whitaker, I texted him and said, delivery complete, on my way. Now this was my first load. It's a day and a half load up, a day and a half, so it's 3 days. That Sunday in my preparation work, I did about 160 miles. Yesterday I did about 580 miles, and today I did about 570 miles, which I know my boss is going to think that's kind of on the light side. He's probably expecting 650 even on loading day, which is ridiculous. I've often said that the expectation of loading and going 500 miles on the same day is a fool's errand. And while I did it yesterday, I have a truck that'll go 85 miles an hour too. It's not speed limited. But I don't like that. The counting on, relying on, depending on a truck that's not speed limited to meet your mileage quota for the day, to me is not good. It's not good business sense. I've had too many 14-hour days loading, getting unloaded, driving with side work, the on-duty part. Because you're limited, remember, on your hours of service, you're limited to 11 hours driving. You got a total of 14 hours a day, of which 11 of those, barring any other restriction, you can drive. A lot of people find the hours of service regulations and restrictions confusing. And I can't say as I blame those people. They can be confusing. Okay. I watched Eric's The Cajun Blades 2-part on 10 Things I Wish I Had Known, which is excellent. It's well thought out, well presented. And I will say, what he said about synthetics being a base or a foundation to your process and procedure, it's exactly what I do, and I've always done. And I'll go one step further. For me, my opinion is that and a lot of this has to do just simply with time. I don't have a lot of time. And so what I do has to work. It has to work right. It has to work the first time. And I guess I just stumbled into a caudicle, my caudicle A that I used on this razor. I must have stumbled into a good stone because I've never really had much of an interest to venture off onto another caudicle. Oh, let me learn this one too. No. In fact, I just don't spend a lot of time with the other, except a little travel stone. Now I take that and it's in my travel bag and I can pull it out and when I'm in the bunk and fool around with it. And that's how I've gotten good with it, both that one and the Arkansas stones too. And so I will use my synthetic stones, my Shapton Glass Stone series. I have the 500. I use it on some occasion, but mostly the 1K and the 2K for bevel setting and that. And then I moved to the 4K and then the 8K and sometimes I'll go to the 16K. With all due respect to Dr. Matt and his review of the Shapton Glass 16, I've not had a problem with it. But I'm not looking for a microscopic perfection. And so I do all my bevel setting and mid-range work and that first step of the finish on the 8K. And then I will jump to a natural stone. One stone honing is really not something that interests me because it's so time consuming and I just don't have time for that methodology. But that's just me. Now, maybe a few years from now when I actually retire, I may be more inclined to to spend some time with the caudicle and get it the one stone honing down. At this present time, I just don't have an interest in doing something like that. Boy, they got some sounds going on around here. Big compressor. What sounded like a big compressor just took off a little bit ago. I don't know what it's blowing. Could be the furnace, I guess. I don't know. All right, that looks like that's about it on the face shave. I did bring my clippers in tonight and gave myself a haircut. This Lowe's Truck Stop has 8 shower rooms, which is a goodly number. Most will have anywhere from 5 or 7, depending upon how old or new they are. I'm gonna use the Taylor Eyewitness with the same razor on my head. And I have my own security lock under the door. Ah. As I near the end of my video, I want to shout out to my usual crew and fellows. I'm not going to call them all out by name. You'll see me list them and others. I'm not going to try and get too fine. Okay, I can go with that. Now, I am surprised I haven't gotten my next assignment yet, as I mentioned. Because my boss normally will, when I send him the message that I'm unloaded and departing, it's usually within an hour, he'll hit me back up with a text about the next load. Especially when I'm just starting my work week. I'll get 2 loads a week usually, unless there's a breakdown or something. Well, this was an amazing shave, if you don't mind my saying, with a conical edge. I think this is as good a sharp an edge as any of I've ever shaved with, including my Arkansas and Shaping Glass. And something else I wanted to say was that you don't have to run to every fad stone. You don't have to run to every, learn to master everything. Pick what you want. Maybe 2 or 3 different types of stones, conical, Arkansas, synthetic. Oh, that just feels so nice. Yeah. Okay, and it's fun. It should be fun to you. And that's one point that everybody says. You don't have to worry about what gurus say or what this website or that forum says, because you're the one that whose face you're trying to shave with this equipment. And it's fun as can be, I think. All right. Taylor Eyewitness, Zenith Brush, and oh, we got one more thing to do here. And the Mitchell wool fat. And so it's probably pushing 8:30, 9 o'clock. I appreciate you staying with me, watching the video, commenting, hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you down the road. Thanks for joining me.